Today we visit the Victoria Regional Airport and learn how cooperation for a common good with our neighbors in Mexico helped lead to victory during World War II. Prior to World War II, in an effort to match the powerful air armadas of the Axis nations, the U.S. Army Air Corps rapidly increased its number of training installations throughout the country. The city of Victoria secured an advanced single-engine aerial gunnery training command here, with construction beginning on April 25, 1941. Initially named Victoria Field, the military renamed the site in honor of First Lieutenant Arthur L. Foster, an instructor at Brooks Field killed when his plane crashed in 1925. The first class of cadets arrived in September 1941, and subsequent classes arrived throughout the war. Cadets received both classroom flight instruction and gunnery training on site, with aerial gunnery practice at ranges on Matagorda Island and Matagorda Peninsula. In 1942, the military assigned a unit of the Women's Army Corps here. Cooperation between the U.S. and Allied nations brought foreign aviators here during the war for training, most notably the 201st Fighter Squadron, Mexican Expeditionary Air Force, known as the Aztec Eagles. The end of World War II brought the closure of military sites across the nation. Foster Army Airfield closed on October 31, 1945. However, the airfield's inactivation was short-lived. In 1951, the Korean War created a need for additional jet training facilities, and once again the people of Victoria rallied behind efforts to secure a military installation. As a result of local solicitation, the military reactivated Foster Airfield on April 1, 1952, with the first class of jet aviation cadets arriving in March 1953. On July 1, 1954, Foster Air Force Base became a permanent military installation and later became the Tactical Air Command Control Center for the Western U.S. In December 1958, the military closed Foster Air Force Base. 2 years later, the federal government turned the airfield over to Victoria County in exchange for nearby Allo Field, which the government sold to private investors. In 1976, Foster Field became Victoria Regional Airport. Following the 1941 Japanese attack on U.S. forces at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, during World War II, the nation of Mexico severed diplomatic relations with the Axis powers. In May 1942, German U-boats sank several of the country's oil tankers in the Gulf of Mexico, resulting in a declaration of war against the Axis nations. Following the use of defensive patrols for enemy submarines, Mexico negotiated with the U.S. for the training in Texas of the 201st Fighter Squadron of the Mexican Expeditionary Air Force. The unit became known as the Aztec Eagles. Arriving in Laredo in July 1944, the 300 volunteers traveled to Randolph Field in San Antonio before relocating to Foster Field in Victoria in August. Training took place here and at nearby auxiliary fields. After graduation in October 1944, the squadron deployed to Pocatello Air Base in Idaho, but returned to Texas, Majors Field in Greenville, due to bad weather. The unit later reported to Brownsville for final aerial gunnery practice. Mexico's President Manuel Avila Camacho pushed for the squadron's deployment to the Pacific, partly for his admiration of U.S. General Douglas MacArthur, but also because he felt it could help liberate what he termed a people with a continuity of idiom, history, and traditions. The squadron arrived in the Philippines in April 1945, joining the U.S. 58th Fighter Group of the 5th Fighter Command, 5th Air Force. During its service, the unit conducted many successful attacks on Japanese forces, flying 96 combat missions. The only Mexican military unit to see overseas combat during the war, the Aztec Eagles remain a source of pride for two neighboring nations.